Hi there, I'm Vincent Bos, and I'm a life coach, relationship coach, and breakup coach. You can change the language of this podcast in the YouTube video settings. And in today's podcast, we're going to be discussing the painful reality for your ex in November. I provide audio coaching for breakup recovery, trying to get an ex back, attracting someone new, and life coaching. Visit www.dateme.tips for more details. Please check your spam and junk folders if you are expecting an email from me. Subscribe to my weekly support emails. The link is in the description. So now let's get back into today's podcast, and today we are discussing the painful reality for your ex in November. So if you have been dumped and want to try to get your ex back, it can be surprising to know how specific months affect your ex. In today's podcast, I'll be discussing 3 points to consider regarding the painful reality your ex faces in November. So let's get straight into this, and point number 1 is cuffing season. Now let me know in the comments if you think that your ex misses you. Let me know in the comments, and let's see what the community thinks. And point number 1 is cuffing season. Cuffing season, especially when connected to the Northern Hemisphere, has definitely clicked into place by November. Often, it's already been going a month or so. So what is cuffing season? Well, as I suggested, if it's connected to the Northern Hemisphere, this is when we are moving through autumn, through fall, and towards winter. And it's that desire that people have, that they want to be connected during what we might refer to as the colder months, as the holiday season. That feeling that people can't quite put their finger on, that they just want to be with someone. They want to be with somebody to have a cuddle. They want to be with someone to act as their +1 to an event. They want to be in a couple, in a relationship. Now often cuffing season doesn't last forever, hence it's referred to as a season and not forevermore. But cuffing season can still really pull on your ex, especially your ex-dumper, because from their perspective, they made the choice to end your relationship. And hence, they made the choice to, in most instances, be single. And they are now single during cuffing season. They are now single when, in their mindset, even though they didn't necessarily see this coming, they're likely to have that pull that they want to be in a relationship. They want to be with someone. Now, you might be fearful that this could push them to date someone new. And I can't say with 100% certainty that they wouldn't do that. If they do, though, we have to understand what I've already said. If it's a cuffing season connection, it would likely be a rebound relationship and not last the test of time. Now, I know that isn't necessarily going to be making you feel better, but the alternative to that possibility is, in fact, that they want to reconnect with yourself. Now, does this mean they definitely will? No, we can't guarantee that, but it's certainly a possibility. People often hear from their exes in November and December as the pull of the end of the year starts to almost reel an ex-dumper into thinking of you, the dumpee. Now, of course, there is a lot more to it than just the months of the year, but even if it's just increasing your chance of success by a few percentage points, that is something which has got to give you some positivity. Now, if your ex-dumper was to reach out to you, you've got to make sure that this just doesn't become a cuffing season reconnection, and hence a few months later, you are dumped once again. You have the advantage over someone new, over being able to have that past, have that history, so that hopefully you won't fall into the trap of just being a cuffing season relationship. But whether or not you hear from your ex during this time, whether or not you actually reconnect, you can certainly rest easy in the thought that your ex is not going to be going through an easy time as a single person. I'm not suggesting that you take happiness from them being sad or frustrated, but we have to be real here. Dumpees, you are more than likely going to be hoping that your ex is not having the easiest time. you feel blindsided, you feel rejected, you want them to be feeling things to be a little bit difficult. So I don't think it's unreasonable to you as a dumpee gain, I'm not going to say a lot of pleasure, but just be almost happy in the thought that it's not just you who's struggling, okay? They've ended a relationship, they are now within cuffing season, likely as a single person, and they will then feel that struggle that perhaps you've felt ever since you were dumped. Now they're going to be feeling it themselves. Will this reconnect you? Maybe, maybe not. But what we can certainly say is they will be longing for a connection. So now let's get into point number 2 and the second point of today's podcast. Please like and hype this video. If you like my content, subscribe to the channel to keep updated. And point number 2 is Black Friday. So for those of you listening to point number 2 now and thinking, well, Black Friday is about buying and selling. Black Friday is about commercial opportunity. Black Friday is about spending money. How on earth is Black Friday connected to me and my ex the dumper? And how can it be connected to them having a painful reality? Well, if you consider what we've just gone through there about what Black Friday is, it's the time where people see and view special offers. They then will often make purchases. Generally speaking, this will be connected to Christmas. Maybe there could be other reasons as well, but that is of course what it is the lead up to. Now what does this mean? Well, it means that your expert dumper, when it becomes Black Friday, they see the special offers, they will naturally be thinking of who they could buy a gift for. Yes, they might want to buy something for themselves. Yes, they might want to buy something for other people, but they will likely have a trigger regarding you. Because if you two were in a significant relationship, there would have no doubt been many years. Okay, maybe some of you weren't together for too many years, but I would suggest that if your relationship was long and strong, there is a good strong possibility that you were together for multiple Christmases, multiple birthdays, multiple times where your ex would have been thinking of you top of the list when they needed and wanted to buy something. Maybe last Black Friday you were doing your shopping together. Maybe last Black Friday they bought something for you. Well, this Black Friday you're definitely going to come into their mind again. It is acting as a trigger. This is a time of year where you buy gifts. Now, should they be buying you a gift now? Well, sadly, they're not likely to. Your relationship is not currently intact. They decided to end it. No, they're not likely to buy you a present, but they are likely to think about you because they probably bought you one last year. And Black Friday comes around once a year. And when a date on the calendar has that effect, it is something where we naturally think back 12 months to what we did then, or in essence, in this regard, who we bought things for. So you will come into your ex's mind. You will also come into their mind with them wondering who you might be buying presents for. Now this is where we have a bit of a paradox, because if you as a dumpee were to buy your ex a Christmas present, this is not likely to help your cause. This could be deemed as a little bit creepy perhaps, especially if they have told you, please leave me alone. But certainly, even if they haven't said anything at all regarding that type of thing, you shouldn't be doing it because they do not deserve what I refer to as gold membership. They do not deserve gold membership of you. They do not deserve your hard-earned money being spent on them, and certainly when you're trying to deep down use it as a bargaining chip. You might not see it as that. You might see it as I'm just trying to tell them that I love them, but let's break it down. You're trying to buy their choice. You're trying to spend money on them so they change their mind. Okay, that is the truth of the matter. You don't want to be doing that. You want to be with someone who wants to be with you for you, not because you're buying them a gift. So the paradox comes that they wouldn't want you to buy them a present. It wouldn't help you if you bought them a gift. However, they are half wondering and almost expecting that you might. And if and when you don't, obviously this wouldn't kick in till Christmas, or maybe there is a birthday coming up, which it would also tie into. If and when you don't do this, they are going to feel it. Okay, so that is the strange paradox. They don't want a present from you. You shouldn't be getting them a present. But if you don't get them a gift, this is when they will wonder, well, if they're not buying me one, who is my dumpee buying for instead? So when it becomes Black Friday, your ex-dumper is going to be wondering, are they buying me something? Are they buying somebody else something? Even though that might sound a strange thought process for someone who ended a relationship, it's absolutely the case. Now, I'm not suggesting it happens forevermore. I'm not suggesting if you were dumped 10 years ago that they would still be thinking of it now. But certainly a year, 2, 3 years later, I've heard dumpers tell me that they do have a thought in their mind about their ex-dumpee, about things such as this. Triggers work in that way. And hence, there can be a painful reality in your ex-dumper's mind when it becomes Black Friday, because firstly, they're not going to buy you something and you come into their mind, and now they're actually wondering who, if anyone, you're buying something for instead. Now, if you would like advice and support about how to try and increase the chance of one day getting your ex back, then you may want to consider my audio coaching service, where me and you can speak one-on-one about your unique specific situation. This is the best and diamond level of support that I can provide. Go to my website www.dateme.tips for more information about how I can become your coach and your teammate via my audio coaching service. Talking about your feelings can also improve your mental health. It helps prevent the buildup of negative emotions, which can lead to stress, anxiety, depression, and even physical health issues. Speak your heart to free your mind. So now let's get into point number 3 and the final point of today's podcast. If you feel that this podcast has helped you, then please consider buying me a coffee. The link to do so is in the description. And point number 3 is events being planned. Now, if you feel that this podcast could help others, please share it in breakup communities, groups, and servers. Let's help as many people as possible. And point number 3 is events being planned. And today we're speaking about the painful reality for your ex in November. And November is the month of where events are planned. Now, what do we have on the calendar? Well, of course, it depends whereabouts in the world you're from. But if you're in North America, Thanksgiving is something which is going to be coming up. Now, Thanksgiving is a very important day on the calendar for those people who celebrate it. Maybe every Thanksgiving, you and your ex were together. Maybe every Thanksgiving, you went to your parents perhaps, and maybe they went to their parents, or whatever it might be, there was planning to be done. Planning for events which act as triggers. Now, we've already referenced triggers in point number 2 when we're speaking about Black Friday. But now we're speaking about the actual events. And Thanksgiving is a major one on the calendar in the month of November. Now, if you don't celebrate Thanksgiving, or even if you do, there are still more events being planned. Now, these events coming up aren't necessarily in November, but they are being planned. What are you doing on New Year's Eve? You know, your decision about what you do on New Year's Eve is often planned in November. So what are you going to be doing? What did you do last year? That is the key. Remember, anything that you did last year, even 2 years ago, they're going to pop into your mind. You sadly know this from a difficult thought process. Your ex-dumper will have the exact same. Anything that triggers you is going to trigger them. Now, how about Christmas? Millions and millions and millions of people around the world celebrate Christmas. And for those that do, there is that week where we have Christmas and then New Year a week later. 2 very powerful days. Often it is a situation where certain people will visit certain family on one and they visit for others on the other. We also have certain countries that celebrate Boxing Day, which is the 26th of December. And again, that's also something where often certain people will visit one side of a family on Christmas Day and they visit the other side of a family on Boxing Day. And then we have New Year's Eve only a week later. So what we can see here, there are so many things which are often being planned in November, whether it's Thanksgiving actually in the month, or whether it is Christmas Day, Boxing Day, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day even, a month later in December. All of that is often planned back in November. And all of those events, all of those where are we going? What did we do last year? Who did we see? You are often going to pop into your ex's mind, just as sadly they likely do to you. It all acts as triggers. Every time you come into your ex-dumper's mind, it is going to cause a level of pain. Yes, they ended the relationship, but more often than not, they didn't want to hurt you. More often than not, they might be looking back now and wondering, have I even made the right choice? I'm single. I'm not particularly happy. Did I do the right thing? When you pop into their mind, that level of wonder and intrigue slowly starts to build, and it can increase and regrow romantic emotional attraction. And if it hits the necessary high point, this is when they will reach out to you, and this is when the painful reality for your ex in November can really hit home.